Hey guys, it's CJ, and we are back for another episode review of Love After Lockup. And today we'll be talking about season 3, episode 13, called Put a Sweater On and Chill. Now, I'm coming from a different location today. The gold backdrop, I'm not using it today because I am a little under the weather. So I'm doing this review from the bed. So y'all please try to send prayers and good vibes my way. Kind of hoping for good news, but I may get into that on another video. So just keep your fingers crossed and pray for your girl. And also while you're here, please don't forget to like this video, comment, and subscribe to my channel just so that you're here for all the other content that I put out. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get started on this review, shall we? Now, this season premiere starts with Maurice and Jessica. Maurice is kind of doing a selfie style video, and he tells us that his travel pass was approved, and so he is going to Vegas to be with Jessica. And he's very excited about getting back home to his wife. And he tells us that it's been rough being away. He's basically been staying from post to post. He's been staying with his mom, his sisters, his cousins, just basically anywhere that he can stay. So he gets home, and I mean, he is just acting a damn fool, just jumping all on the lady's bed and everything. And so she's excited to have him home, but at the same time, she's kind of like, don't break the bed, Maurice. But he's just happy to be in an environment where he can walk around naked if he wants to, or he can jump on the bed freely because it, in a sense, does belong to him. And she takes this time to tell him that she's been feeling a little nauseous and she's 3 weeks late. So he's like, you just now telling me? He's excited and everything. He's excited, and they decide that they're going to go take a pregnancy test or get a pregnancy test. And he says in his confessional that, he's excited about this child and that he's going to go and do the things right this go round, because his older daughter, he wasn't around for her growing up. Although she's still pretty young, he wasn't around when she was born. He missed that because he was incarcerated. So he says that he is not going to miss any time with this child and he's going to do it right. But I'm sure I was thinking the same thing that the rest of America was thinking, like, okay, how are you going to support this child? But that kind of dawns on him later, and he's like, well, now I got to figure out how I'm going to make money to support this child. Duh. I mean, anybody knows you are fresh out of jail, and it's not as hard for felons to find work these days as it was back in the day. So he can get a job. I'm even inclined to believe that his father-in-law would get him a job because he doesn't want him out here on, bum shit while he's married to his daughter. So I'm thinking that Maurice will have an opportunity to support his family. But you then see they go and they take the pregnancy test, and he's going to read the results to her and don't even know how to read the results to her. He's asking her, what is he looking for? And they are indeed pregnant. Now she's excited because she says that she has always wanted children and she's excited to be having a child with her husband. Then it dawns on Jessica. Now I'm concerned because I need to know how Maurice is going to help take care of a baby. I mean, is nobody thinking about this when y'all just out here raw dogging when he got out of jail, that there is a possibility that he could impregnate you and he does not have a job? And then he says something like he's going to practice, or they're going to work on 2 more. Nah, fool, how about you work on one job? Let's start there before you start working on multiple children. But that was their story. And I'm just kind of going couple by couple. I'm not going to jump back and forth like I normally do, or how production shows it to us. I just think it's easy to just get each couple out of the way and move on to the next. And speaking of the next, we get to Destiny and Sean. And Sean is like driving and he's in the mirror checking out his wounds from when Destiny basically beat the shit out of him before he goes to work. So he's checking his wounds and having flashbacks of that ass whooping. And Sean is a better man than a lot of men that I know, because a woman swinging on you like that, first of all, she has no right to do it. But a woman really swinging on you the way she was swinging on him in any setting that I have ever been in, I can almost guarantee you it might have been one of those Jody baby boy reactions where he slapped Yvette and didn't consciously mean to do it, but it was a reaction. It would have been one of those kind of situations with a lot of people that I know. But Destiny knew that she could do that to Sean and get away with it. But, he gets to work and he's telling his friend what happened. And the friend thinks it's funny, and as does everybody else. But the friend is telling him, you need to let her walk, let her go if she's saying she wants to go. But then he brings up the fact that $50K is on the line, so he can't let her walk. And he's also telling us that he wants to marry her still. The friend thinks he's absolutely crazy. And if she is jumping on you for talking to your baby mom, she's going to start jumping on you for the littlest stuff. And it's going to become like this control issue. And you're basically going to be in an abusive relationship. And he just thinks that they were doing so well together. And that one incident was sort of a setback, but he still believes that him and Destiny can kind of work things out. And just my personal thoughts, and I'll start sharing more of my thoughts throughout the videos. I just really think that Sean is a dumbass, because you have a woman who has given you 6 children. And from what you say, it didn't really seem like a relationship, full of turmoil. It was just, for whatever reason, y'all split up. But Kelly obviously still cares about him. Just from what we see, you got this woman who you met in prison who has done nothing but take from you. And then she's trying to, cause a rift in your relationship, your good relationship with your children's mom. A lot of relationships aren't like that. And I think that, civil as they are, and I think that she's going to create that drama between he and Kelly that he probably has not had for any of their children. So I think Destiny is definitely a liability. He needs to get rid of her and let that hoe go on about her business personally. But, he's just saying that he wants to marry her still, and he's going to propose to her with that ring he bought. Now, meanwhile, we see her. She's at Sean's house on the phone with her sister, and she's telling her sister what went down. And then she's also telling her that, I'm crazy. She's bragging about being crazy and just saying that, she's going to leave. She has his credit card and she'll just run it up and she'll leave his ass and all this crazy stuff. So nobody really knows what Destiny's going to do. And when Sean gets home from work, he says he's been texting and calling her all day. She hasn't responded. when he gets home, we don't see any sight of Destiny. Now, I don't know if production was just playing it up that way, but it looks like Destiny might be gone. So then we move on over to old Scott and Lindsay. Lindsay's showing off her ankle monitor that she's got to wear for 2 weeks. They're on their way somewhere. She said that they've been working on the house nonstop because, as we all saw, that house was a complete mess when she got there. Now, I know for some reason it really bothers me that these women, when they're locked up, they're still taking because these men are sending them money and everything. And then when they get out, they have like this princess complex, just like Destiny. I'm gonna go back to her. I don't know who told Destiny that she was a prize. She just acts like she is just God's gift to this world, and that Sean should be thankful to have her. I don't understand it. And it's kind of the same with Lindsay. Lindsay has come out, but Scott, he is at fault too, because he seems as though he has played himself up to be this, big money businessman that has a lot of money to spend, and was offering her a certain type of lifestyle and was supposed to have it ready when she got home. And she noticed that it was nothing like he was telling her. And so they've been working on the house, and she's still pissed about the house being in the condition. She tells us how hard it's been, being away from her daughter. Is one thing to be in prison and not be able to be around her, but now she's home and still can't be around her because she's, of course, quarantining for 2 weeks. And Scott tells us how he still hasn't smashed yet, and how he's been sleeping on the couch because Lindsay hasn't wanted him in the bed. Something tells me that Lindsay would have tried to pick a fight with that man to get him on the couch anyway, because I don't think that Lindsay is sexually attracted to Scott. Do y'all? I don't think so. But we then see later, Scott comes home with more furniture, which is good because now he's starting to make the house sort of look like a home. Lindsay's excited about that. Scott is really trying to get brownie points. So he calls Lindsay's grandma and her daughter to come over, but they kind of talk through the door instead of her actually coming inside. They talk in the door, and it was really sweet. The daughter was very happy to see her mom. And is it just me? And I might, just because I'm an emotional person, and I know it would have brought tears to my eyes to actually physically be in the presence of my child that I haven't seen in years, or physically been able to like be around in years. It would have had me a little more emotional, with tears. And Lindsay didn't really seem moved. It was almost like she was talking to one of her homegirls or something. It wasn't like a mother child. It was like a homegirl to homegirl or cousins or something. It wasn't as emotional as I thought that it should have been. I don't know, but it could have just been me. But, she tells her that, we only have a couple more days and then you get to come and stay with me and Scott. And so the grandma's like, okay, we gotta go. And she's really hoping that Lindsay gets her stuff together and for the sake of her daughter. And Scott's hoping that this earned him some booty points because he is ready to get it in with Lindsay. Lindsay may not feel the same way, but Scott is definitely ready. Now, we go to Kuaylan, and Chevelle. They start their segment by going to see Chevelle's pastor. And Chevelle's pastor he told them that he's known Chevelle ever since she was, her daughter's size. She was a very young girl, and she brought him to see Pastor because Pastor works with men who have recently been released from jail or prison. So she figured that him sort of getting some sort of spiritual counseling or just being able to talk to somebody, talk his feelings, out, this could be helpful for him. And in their conversation, the pastor kind of senses, he asks Cuellon, what does he want? And Cuellon kind of lets him know he's feeling a little overwhelmed because you got Chevelle's mom kind of pressuring me to do one thing. I got Chevelle pressuring me to do something. And the cousin, is basically telling me I better be this good man and this and that. And he feels like Chevelle's family is putting a whole lot of pressure on him, making him do a whole lot of things that he may not necessarily be ready to do. And Pastor kind of picked up on that and basically just told him that it sounds like you need to do what's best for you and kind of let the chips fall where they may. And something that really pissed me off was when the pastor asked him who his biggest supporter was, and he said his mom. Now, I don't know everything that the mom has done for him since he's been locked up or since he's been out, but what we do know and what they've shown us is all the stuff that Chevelle has done. Chevelle has taken care of him. She has, put a roof over his head. She's bought him transportation, and she's really trying to take care of him, but he almost feels smothered by her. And I guess he just feels like ultimately his mom has his best interest at heart. But that had to be a slap in the face to Chevelle to see or hear him say that his mom was his biggest supporter. And when they leave the church, he's kind of quiet and Chevelle wants to know why. I'm guessing she wanted to discuss what he shared with the pastor or what they talked about. She wanted to kind of know what he talked about, but he basically was just telling her to, chill and she needed to mind her own business. And they kind of start bickering back and forth a little bit because now Chevelle's starting to see, okay, incarcerated Cuellon is different than out in the streets Cuellon. And Cuellon himself is starting to discover, hey, I'm not bound to just Chevelle, I don't really have to sell her the dreams that I was selling her while I was in prison. It almost seems like he wants to see what else is out there because now he's starting to talk to her different. And she's even starting to notice that. And she calls him out on certain stuff. She was like, well, this and this wasn't a problem when you were locked up, now all of a sudden, you want me to back off and it's a problem. Just like he was saying he wanted to get married right away when they got out. Now he changed his mind about that. It's just now we're starting to see a different side of Cuellon, and so is Chevelle, and it doesn't seem like she's liking it. But I think that he is, realizing that Chevelle might just want too much from him too soon. But we'll see how their story unfolds. So then we go to Tyrese and Shonda. Shonda's not answering any of this man's calls. He is calling her, constantly calling her, leaving messages, no answer. He don't have a clue where she is. He doesn't know if she's still in the halfway house or if she's been out, if she's dead, if she's back in jail. He has no clue. So his daughter comes over and she has been vocal about not approving of Shonda just because she feels like the girl is too young for him and that she's probably just, a sugar baby trying to find a sugar daddy. And she asked him, how much money have you given her? And Tyrese does not disclose that. He makes it seem like he put $10 on her book, $15 on a book here and there. But some tells me Tyrese was he was he was spending that cash on Shonda and that ass. So he just is embarrassed now because she is nowhere to be found, and he doesn't want to admit that he could be getting played. So the daughter, along with the rest of us, believes that this woman was just using you while she was in prison. She's out now. She doesn't want to physically be with you. So she's just going to disappear in the wind, and she'll probably come back around when she needs something else in the future. But she don't want nothing to do with old Tyrese. So the daughter tells him that he just may have been ghosted. And Tyrese is an older cat, so he doesn't know what ghosted means. So she had to break it down to him, basically, that Shonda might have just got what she could get from you, and now she has disappeared and she's in the wind. He doesn't believe that at all, which I don't understand why he doesn't believe that, because that's exactly what has happened. So we move on to the craziest part of the episode, which was Heather and Dylan. Now, Dylan tells us that he wants to take care of Heather because Heather has taken such good care of him while he was incarcerated. He wants to be able to do things for her, like get her hair done, get her nails done, take care of her like that. Not pay bills, but, get her hair and nails done. But some basic females like that kind of stuff. But, he lets us know that part of his parole is he has to drug test every 2 weeks. And he sounds like he wants to do the right thing, and he wants to stay on this straight and narrow because he doesn't want to go back to prison. And they go to this house, and she lets us know that her apartment flooded a couple weeks before Dylan got out. So they're staying with Auntie Diane. Auntie Diane looked to be every bit of 90, 91-ish. And she's on oxygen, and she's very frail. And you could tell she's weak, and she does not need a whole lot of bullshit in her life. And when they bring Dylan home, her other aunt is there too. And Dylan is very respectful, very courteous, and they like Dylan from what they've seen thus far. And so they're showing him pictures of the other family members. And you see Heather kind of off in the back. I mean, she is just stewing, just absolutely pissed off. And so she gets mad that he's getting to know her family. And she comes in and she's like, I'm going to leave. I got to lay down. I don't feel good. I'm going to leave. And so he automatically knows, okay, this bitch is about to start tripping. So he gets up and, he dismisses himself. And she's like, I can't even get a minute alone with you. You just got out and now you're in here and you want to spend all the time with my family and I need your attention. I mean, she is wilding out. So everybody is just like, and you could tell the aunts know this side of her. They could tell that she does have this crazy side, or they have seen it, because they don't really seem too alarmed by it. Dylan, on the other hand, is just like confused, and he's like, okay, well, I'm going to go with you. I'm going to go with you. So she's like, no, you can go back in there with them. I mean, she was just acting a fool. Like they were in there trying to suck him off or something. They just wanted to get to know him, or have him get to know the family that he's going to be a part of. But she wasn't thinking that way. So she gets packed up and she's like, we can't stay here. We got to leave. And it's just crazy. So Dylan was getting the stuff, putting it in the car. And you could tell he's reluctant because this is the address that he's paroled to. This is where his parole officer will pop up. If he is not here, he could get in trouble and go back to prison. But that is not registering with Heather at all. Heather is just bound and determined to leave because she wants to have sex with him. And she says she can't have sex with him with her aunt all in his face. And I mean, just crazy. So she then is in the kitchen trying to wash up the rest of Aunt Diane's dishes before they leave. Dylan is in the car putting the stuff in the car because he doesn't know what else to do. And the aunt basically tells her, you don't need to act like that. You don't need to be jealous that somebody else is talking to Dylan. And she basically starts going off on Aunt Diane, 91-ish Aunt Diane that is on the oxygen, that looks like if you blow on her too hard, we might be meeting her at the crossroads. It is horrible. And I'm afraid for this old lady because Heather seems very explosive and seems like she can have like a volatile nature. And I don't think that they need to be in her house because they're going to kill that lady. That's just my thoughts. I hope they don't. But she basically argues with the aunt and she's yelling, I'm done, I'm done. And Dylan's like, you're done what? He's confused and they leave. But that was the episode. Tell me what y'all thought about it. I think that this crew, they're definitely going to give us what we want and more. So I'm definitely excited about this season. I think the weakest links might be Tyrese and Shonda to me. Who do y'all think are the weakest links? I thought they were going to give us what we wanted, but they're not giving it to me because she's not going to be around enough for them to give us what we want. But y'all tell me what y'all think. And again, don't forget to like this video, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks.